When there's a 2 mass here and a 1 mass, or a 1 mass here, the lever moves identically. Okay, your mistake. Now,
2 words into Ian's comment.
Okay, your mistake. Now,
and Gary is pinching the floor again. Shameful.
Your mistake is the erroneous assumption.
And that's all you're going to get of Ian's comment for quite some time. Because Gary wants to take the stage.
When you put a 1 mass object over here, it's exactly the same as the 2 mass here.
No, Gary, it's not.
Twice the distance is exactly the same.
No, it's not.
This side of the lever can't tell the difference.
Yes, it can.
Now, I challenge you
Challenge accepted.
to come up with a single piece of evidence
For Gary Gobshite to deny
that any human being on Earth,
not including Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles or Mr. Magoo or Gary,
could tell the difference.
Anyone who can see this can tell the difference.
I could put a 1 mass out here and a 2 mass here, and they could turn it in a box.
In case you didn't hear what he just said, if you can turn it in a box, in other words, so that half the lever is concealed so you can't see it, you can only see one end of the lever, and you don't know what's on the other end in a box. That's what he means.
And they would be able to predict which one was which.
Easy peasy.
They can't.
Of course they can, you moron. Even you could, so long as you've got your glasses on.
Just like if I took magnets.
Nothing whatsoever like if you took magnets. Nothing whatsoever like if you took magnets. Straw man, straw man, straw man. It's nothing whatsoever like if you took magnets. It's nothing like if you took a halibut and a plaice. It's got nothing to do with these things, Gary. It's not like if you took a violin and a piano. It's got nothing to do with these other things, Gary. Stick to the fucking point, you empty-headed twit.
It had north-south.
Completely different matter altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying, altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying.
Like a bottle of water and a bottle of vinegar, shaking them in a bag. You won't be able to tell which is which. Nothing to do with the subject, though. You fucking empty-headed cretin.
It's a ridiculous assertion by you that there's a single shred of evidence that anybody can tell that difference.
Anybody can tell the difference, even you, Gary.
Because the scale can't tell the difference.
Well, the fucking camera can.
The scale proves it by balancing.
Believe it or not, scales aren't that intelligent. They don't know what you're putting on the scale. If a scale measures 1 gram, it doesn't know whether it's your brain or your bollocks.
Dumbass.
Dumbass. Have you got a mirror in front of you to remind you to say this now? And the way you said that just came across, tickled me funny bone. Dumbass. I think it was the irony of it. I think it was the irony of it that got to me.
It couldn't balance, dumbass.
Please stop it.
Because the scale is proving it's equal.
You don't know what scales are for, do you? You don't know what scales are for, do you? That's why you've not got any. I mean, it's just shocking.
That there is no difference in the force required to accelerate the lever.
But wait, don't faint, but he's just read out a few more words of Ian's comment. It only took half an hour, didn't it?
There's no difference from the lever's perspective.
Watch my lips, Gary. Yes, there is.
When there's a 2 mass here and a 1 mass, or a 1 mass here.
How many times do we have to go over it? We've been over this. How many times are you going to do it? Repeating something doesn't make it come true, Gary.
The lever moves identically.
For the love of God, no, it doesn't.
In both circumstances.
No. 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 Is Freddie Starr outside your house making bird noises?
You'd honestly think there were birds in the video. That was so impressive.
Speed on board like a bird on the wing. All what they say. I realize born to be free.
And now a bullfinch.
I put one mass here or I put two mass here. Doesn't matter what's over here. This will move exactly the same. It'll swing at exactly the same speed. Every piece, every atom will move exactly the same. One mass here, two mass there. No difference. And you haven't provided any evidence that that is a wrong assumption. Or that it's fucking erroneous. It's clearly not erroneous because, frankly, I've seen it. I've seen scales work. Okay. The force required to accelerate the lever is the same angular velocity in both cases. It doesn't matter about the angular velocity. It only matters about how much momentum or energy it actually takes to cause the motion. Obviously, light things move faster. They have a different angular velocity. So what? That part of the lever moves exactly the same speed.
No, it doesn't.
When I put the two mass in the other location.
No, Gary, the speed changes. You're wrong.
Doesn't change what that part of the lever does.
Yaw, yaw, yaw. I beg to differ. Showing off my French. My French is better than your fucking physics.
It does exactly the same thing.
Prove it. You can't because it doesn't.
There's just no point.
Tell Freddie Starr to fuck off. We can hardly hear you.
This is what you're defending as science. You're pathetically doopy.
You don't sound like an 8-year-old girl arguing at all, Gary.
I mean, you're such a dupe.
That reminds me, do they sell chamomile tea anywhere near you, Gary? You could do with a few cups of that, I think.
Ugh. Alright, moving on. I mean, I won't show this comment, but I already blocked the whatever. Friction is fake. The history of an idea literally doesn't matter at all. Of course it matters.
Does it? So think about that, shall we? Surely we should take your history into account then, shouldn't we? Your history of being alcohol dependent as a school kid. Your excuse that, oh, I only had a nip, I only stiff whiskey every morning before I went to school. What other kid needs that? Something wrong there, Gary. So your history is tainted from the very start. You know, without being mean-spirited about it, you've obviously had a troubled past, and it's affected your ability to see things in a positive light. You know, you see everything in a negative light, and I have some empathy up to a point, you know, with that. But are we wrong for taking that into account when we look at your analysis of science? It seems to us that that's affected you, but we are not allowed to say that, are we? Oh, no, you're being all rational, and according to you, you are being rational. Your past has got nothing to do with your present. I wonder.